If you are ambitious but lazy, then this video is for you. At age of 35, I decided to rebuild my life. I decided to change everything about my life that I didn't like. I didn't like the job that I had. I didn't like the way that I was living. I didn't like anything about me. So I decided to make that change. And now I am living such a beautiful life. I feel grateful. I am a brand owner of Inkara and I make empowering kids for the kids. I'm a mom of 5-year-old. I create YouTube videos for people like me who feel stuck in their life, but they are ambitious. They wanted to change their life for better. But how I was able to do it, because I always wanted to change my life. I always knew it, that my life is meant for bigger. I always dream of living bigger life, but I was never been able to break that cycle. I felt for whole my life that I'm a lazy person. I used to call myself a lazy person as well. And that was the problem. The narrative that we say to ourselves becomes the reality. When we say to ourselves that we are lazy, then we start acting like it, and then we give proof to our brain. Like everybody, I had a bigger goals, but my problem was I never knew how to execute them. Every new year, I would think about it, all the goals. By the way, I've never wrote down my goals, but that was another issue that I had. When you write down your goals, you become clear. And that brings us to the point number 2, is not that we are lazy. The problem is we are so unclear because our brain gets the million ideas in a day and we get overwhelmed. We think we wanted to do this. Our friend told us this is the best things to do to make extra money. Then we start thinking about that. Then somebody told us to do something else. We get confused. But when we write down our goals, and this is exactly what I did. When I set that at age of 35, enough. I wanted to change my life. I wanted to show my son that I am never going to live a miserable life that I was living, the toxic job that I had. But how I was able to execute everything by writing it down on a piece of paper. When I wrote down my goals, I realized I actually did not have that many goals. It was just 1 or 2 areas of my life which I wanted to change. And that was the one other thing was a career. So I realized I wanted to do something creative. At that time, I didn't even know that I wanted to start a brand. I didn't even know how to start a business, let alone a brand. Then I made only one goal, and that is point number 3. When we write down everything, we get clarity. But the most important thing is we focus on too many things at the same time. Everyone would get discouraged when they have to focus so many things. If same time I make a goal to get a beach body, same time if I get a goal to run a marathon, if I get a goal to build a brand, to build a YouTube, everything at the same time, I won't be able to do anything because we get overwhelmed with so many goals. You have to just pick one goal. And this is what I would suggest to anyone starting up, anyone who wanted to change their life, wanted to achieve anything, doesn't matter big or small. Just pick one goal for 6 months, focus on that. And I bet you are going to change your life. And by the way, if you wanted to take an action right now in this video, because this video is not a fluff, I want you to take action right now. Write down the one goal that you wanted to achieve in next 6 months. Write it down, come back after 6 months and tell me how did it go. But I am going to give you a challenge. Write down if you're serious about your goals. The problem is when we get ourselves overwhelmed with so many goals, we get indecisive. We don't know where to focus. And when we don't have a focus, we are not going to achieve anything. The next point is build a system. I highly recommend if you have never read Atomic Habit. Atomic Habits has completely changed the way I see about habits. I truly believe building a system. I was somebody from 8 p.m. to 9:30, I would scroll. I would scroll for an hour and a half without realizing that I was wasting so much of my time. But nothing changed until I changed the system. I knew that's my time. My brain is programmed to scroll on the internet. What I did is stop taking my phone to the room. I just put a book next to my bed. And I know when I don't have a phone, most likely I'm going to grab a book. But the problem is we rely too much on the discipline and motivation. Sometimes it's hard. If you create a system, if you wanting to lose a weight and in your pantry, your food choices are still the same. How do you think you are going to stay motivated to choose salad over potatoes? It's so hard. And this is why I'm a firm believer in building a system. When you build a system, it's hard to break. But when you rely on motivation and discipline, they are not consistent. They only show up few days in a life. And talking about reading the books, when you change your identity, you are more likely to become the successful person. For example, if you keep thinking about, I need to lose weight, rather, if you wanted to lose weight, think of how a healthy person would live their life. Rather than going on this diet, think about changing your lifestyle. And this is what every health nutritionist, they will suggest. In order to lose a weight, change your lifestyle. What they are trying to say is build identity. If I knew that I wanted to change my life, I knew that my job was toxic, I want to end that cycle, I knew my dreams were bigger and I wanted to achieve and do something. What I did, I started acting from that identity, somebody who is successful. This is not the first time that I started the YouTube channel. I abandoned it a long time ago. If I would have continued, I wouldn't have been the same person. But instead, what changed this time is I changed the narrative. What I tell myself that I am not somebody who is going to make a video. I'm already somebody who is a successful YouTuber. All I have to do is film one video. When you change the identity, you are going to take action more often and you are going to become successful. When we are talking about changing the identity, I wanted to share this. The 5 people that you hang out with, you become the average of those 5 people. And it is so true. I didn't know in my life until I realized all the friends that I was hanging out to, all they were doing on the weekend get together, drinks and eating out and all that cycle, watching Netflix, talking about gossiping to each other and all the negative self-talk. What was doing that to me, it was keeping me in the same loop. The day that I decided that I am going to cut all the negative people around me, I am not going to hang out with the people. If they are not better or if they are not inspiring anything to me, I am going to stop hanging out with them. Everything changes. And it is so real. Do this in your life. Evaluate who are the 5 people that you are next to and then look at their personality. Look at how they talk to themselves. Are they negative people? Are they always involved in gossiping? Are they always thinking about the negative things going to happen to them? Are they the scarcity mindset people? Watch out for these people. Eliminate all of them. And in this process, if you find yourself alone, I would say is better to be alone than surrounded by negative people. Because the moment you tell your big goals to them, they are going to get intimidated. So you are not going to get successful in anything that you wanted to do. And that brings to the next point is always build your life in quiet. When I decided to change my life 2 years ago, I didn't tell anyone. No friends and family knew I even have this YouTube channel that exists. Nobody knew that I had a brand that sells this beautiful products. Nobody knew this. Why? It's not about hiding. It's more about when you build in quiet, you silence all the noises that coming to you. Because all the people they are in your life, they are your loved ones. They probably wanted to control your life, not because they are negative. It's also because they wanted to protect you. But out of protection, they are also keeping you safe. And this is why I always say build in silence. Whatever goal you have, if you can implement this step, it is going to change everything for you. And that is act now. The power of now is something that we always underestimate. If you decided that you wanted to launch a YouTube channel, rather than wasting your time planning and thinking and coming up with a perfect YouTube title, YouTube thumbnail, whatever that you wanted to do, do one thing that is going to move you forward. Sit down and write a script. Do something about it. If you have decided that you wanted to quit your job, rather than thinking about it, take step in that moment, even if it is for 2 minutes. And this is literally the rule that has been so much successful for me, because I was never kind of a person who would wake up in the morning. If you tell anyone that knew me, I would never been able to wake up. Every single day, I wake up 4:30. Why? Only because I said that to myself, if I can wake up for 2 minutes, only for 2 minutes. As soon as my alarm go off, I'm just going to sit down. And when you sit down, of course, you're going to wake up. And this is how you are going to build it. When you are thinking to do the hard task, and you know your mind is always going to procrastinate, because that is not a time management thing. Procrastination comes from in fear. As soon as you tell your brain that this is the task that you are going to do, or this is your goal, your brain automatically goes in the fear mode. And what it does, it come up with excuses for you not to implement that thing. This is why I always emphasize is whatever thing that you wanted to do, take an action now, just one step. Even if it is for 2 minutes, you're thinking about it, you're sitting all day, you're not doing any workout, start jumping for 2 minutes. That's it. Start jumping for 2 minutes. When you start doing that for 2 minutes, you are building momentum. And that is the key to success. And that is something sets you apart. Going back to my point earlier, which is I was somebody never would wake up early. The thing that I implemented, and this is our last step. This is the next point, which is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 framework by Mel Robbins. As soon as my alarm go off, in my head, I say this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As soon as you say 1, you have to act on it. And this is consistently I use every single day, because there are days when I don't want to wake up. There are days when I just feel unmotivated to wake up. This is why I use this framework every single day when I wanted to wake up. And consistently, I have been waking up 4:30 every day. And last, if you are women watching this video, then I wanted to say something which I've never thought about it, but as soon as I started implement, it has changed everything for me, and that is cycle syncing. When I know that I am closer to my period days, those days I always tell my brain that I'm not going to feel motivated. I never do hard things. If you are planning your intense workout closer to your period or 1 week before, you're setting yourself for failure. Always have your intense workout or anything that you really want to focus on after your period. And if you start syncing your periods around your goals, you are going to be more successful. I never used to think that way, but every time I understand how cycle syncing works and how our hormonal rhythm naturally is, it makes it so much sense for me. Before the period, I know that my level of energy is so low. I never wanted to start anything new. Those are the times that I focus on planning. Maybe I can write down things that I wanted to do for the next week, or maybe I'll just do the things that doesn't need that much momentum from me. As soon as my periods are over and my periods are starting, I know that I have tons of energy. My hormones are getting back to the level. That's when I schedule the intense workout. That's when I schedule anything that I wanted to focus on. That's where I needed the most energy. I hope you found this video helpful. Because you are an ambitious person, I am sure you are going to love this video. Thank you so much for watching.